Hey guys, how's it going? Josh here, and we're back at it again with another video about the Thanos novel that came out. And this one's kind of about actually what happened when Thanos returned to Titan, because some actual really interesting things happened at this point in the book. Up until this point, Thanos pitched his whole idea about how to save Titan from overpopulation. The people of Titan didn't really respond to it well. They exiled him. At this point, he just got the Chitauri military force, the Chitauri army, and he finally has been able to get the resources he wanted to return to Titan, because basically ever since he was exiled from Titan, he wanted to get support to bring back to Titan to hopefully help Titan. Unfortunately, when he gets to Titan, it's too late. He gets the news that Titan's civilization has already collapsed. He has to use an environmental suit to even journey on basically the planet, which is obviously a lot different than by the time we get to Infinity War, because no one's using any sort of environmental suit at that point. At least at this point, maybe Thanos cleans it up later and they just don't say it in the book. Thanos journeys throughout the Eternal City, which is kind of like the capital of Titan. He sees dead bodies basically everywhere he looks. Kids, women, men, doesn't matter. Everyone's just dead. And he goes towards something called the Mentalplex, which was built by his father to basically hopefully meet the problem of overpopulation. And also at the same time, this ended up being one of the causes of their overpopulation issue. It's the largest building in the Eternal City, and when he gets in there and he gets kind of to the top floor where his father would be, he sees his father and thinks his father survives, Alars. However, it turns out Alars isn't the real Alars that is his father, but instead this is a synthetic replicant. And the synthetic replicant, I guess, was waiting for Thanos because it has a whole pre-programmed dialogue with Thanos telling him about how he was right, basically, that Titan was destroyed by a combination of global pandemics along with environmental disasters. Thanos is kind of really pissed at this point because I told you so, why'd you let this happen? And the synthetic tells Thanos there's actually still a way to save Titan. Now, this leads Thanos to something called the Gene Library, and Alars reveals that he selectively picked the DNA from whom he considers the best on Titan, so they could be cloned ideally in the future to basically bring the Titans back into existence on a new planet. This really angers Thanos because the ones that Thanos on Titan actually held dear to him, like the first girl he kissed and his best friend and all that stuff, aren't included in this mix. His mother's also not included either because his father did not kind of deem them the best Titan had to offer. And when the synthetic begins kind of telling Thanos what to do, giving him orders of sorts on how to restore Titan and stuff like that, it angers Thanos, and Thanos ends up destroying the replicant and in the process destroying the whole genetic library, claiming that they should have listened to him, he could have saved at least half of them, and they deserve to die at this point. And Thanos was kind of in a weird, confusing state of both anger and depression by the whole revelation that everything's gone. At a certain point, he was holding hope that because his mother was kind of kept away from the rest of society, maybe at least she would be safe. But unfortunately, she didn't survive. Obviously, has a huge impact on Thanos to the point where he mourns by not leaving Titan, staying in his orbit, and simply training for months on end. And after months of training, he finally leaves Titan's orbit, returns to the Chitauri homeworld, and from there takes his new army and prepares to begin spreading what he calls salvation by venturing to various worlds that he kind of concludes is probably on the same path that Titan was on. That's how Thanos is, I guess, returns to Titan. That's kind of like his story of when he returns to Titan. Comment below your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about that? I think it's pretty cool. Would have been nice to see in a movie. I actually kind of wish we had a Thanos movie now. But comment below your guys' thoughts, and we'll see you guys later.